What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is the first Friday of 2025, and it has started off like a crazy year already. And of course, it's probably going to get crazier before it gets better. We are at the whim of a madman, Jerry and Stephen Jones. I sat here last night and I was just like, the Cowboys have literally stolen my joy, because I had said that, all week we've been talking about, are we blowing this thing up and starting all over with new coaches and things like that? And, are we keeping what's going on? We've been literally like a flag blowing in the wind with the whole Mike McCarthy situation. And then we get clarification that they have until the 14th. The coaches are under contract until the 14th. And before that time, people have to ask permission to interview anybody. So that gives the Cowboys a little leverage where they can say, oh no, they're wanted, and then go ahead and say, we're going to try and offer you a contract. But a couple of things that actually give me hope. And if you were asking me if I'm a betting man, which way would I go? Would I bet that Mike McCarthy is going or staying? I think I was one of the first ones to say months ago, don't be surprised if Mike McCarthy is coming back. And I'm going to say, for Mike McCarthy's response earlier today, with saying, when he was asked about being back for a coach's show next season, he says, hope so. And hearing Jerry Jones say, the hay is in the barn. Jerry Jones isms, he always throws a lot of those out at you. When he was talking about, or he was asked a question, some people have taken it differently than I took it. And everything's up to interpretation. When asked if this game will do anything to change, whether or not the coaches are coming back, after he had already praised them, saying that, we've got Stephen Jones literally kissing their ass, saying that they've done a good job with what's been dealt to them, which is their fault because they didn't help him out too much, that he said, the hay is in the barn. And if you're not a country boy, you don't know what that means. When the hay is in the barn, see, what you have to understand is, and I'm not a farmer, but my rest of soul, my good buddy Alex, he had a farm with cows on there. And what they have to do is, about 3 times a year, if it's a good year, maybe 4 if it's been a great year as far as a growing season, is the hay gets about yay high, the grass. And so they got to go out and they cut the hay. It gets cut, okay? It's green. Now it's got to lay out there and dry up. Then you got another tractor with a different attachment that's going to rake up the straw, the hay. So it's just laying out in the field cut. Now this thing puts it in rows. Then you got another machine, tractor, that goes through and it picks up the straw and it bundles it up, and then it wraps it and it spits it out the back. And then you got to get your other tractor that basically looks like it's got a joust end on it that'll go through and pick up the roll of hay and put it in the barn. So the meaning of the hay's in the barn means the hard work is done. The grass didn't grow. We didn't cut it. We done raked it. We done bundled it up, and we done got it out the field and we done put it in the barn. So the way the question's asked is there anything that this coaching staff can do to, facilitate them returning, or, to change your mind or whatever? The hard work's been done as the decision's been made. And when you hear the way, I'm amazed that Stephen Jones literally was like a love fest. I was ready to say, Stephen Jones, you need to get a room with you and the coaching staff. He went through it. He went through the litany of things that were wrong. He'll tell you, we got $110 million of players that, are injured, not injured reserve. And, we had some turnovers. And, in the NFL, when you have turnovers, very few teams are going to win games that way. We've had some hard situations and we've been in some difficult, tight money situations. And it's like, wait a minute. If you had Mike McCarthy coming in, they say, okay, explain to us why we should keep you and why this season was bad and how you don't deserve blame for it. Stephen Jones made every argument for Mike McCarthy. And I think the reason why we keep hearing the Joneses saying that is they're trying to convince themselves of that as well. Hey, we've had a lot of injuries. Got a lot of guys that are on injured reserve. It took time for Mike Zimmer to get a grasp on this side. And the thing that I'm going to tell you guys that you don't want to hear. Here's what you don't want to hear about Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, I don't know how you view Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer was handed a incredible, one of the best teams ever assembled in football in their prime and won a Super Bowl with them. I don't know if you look at him and say Barry Switzer is a great coach because Troy Aikman will tell you, I told that mother I'm going to just stay the F away from me, and basically Troy Aikman ran that team. He's got the highest win percentage of any coach in the Dallas Cowboys. Do I think that he's better than Tom Landry? No. Do I think he's better than Jimmy Johnson? No. But since Barry Switzer, you take every one of the coaches that were there, every one of them, nobody has more wins than him. His winning percentage, it's up there. You had 3 years of 12 wins. And that includes having Bill Parcells here. And as far as Jason Garrett goes, I can say that the Cowboys, with Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett, they made moves. Bill Parcells stocked the cabinets for those guys. And they made moves to bring in the TOs, the Terry Glenn's, and making the trades for, Roy Williams, although that didn't work out. They had, DeMarco Murray with an 1,800-yard season and things. They had good players, and they were willing to go out and trying to bring in others as well. I ask you, what move, just name me one move that the Cowboys did to help Mike McCarthy win a Super Bowl. A move that's beyond just the draft. They didn't bring in any free agents. They've been the lowest spending in free agency since 2016. Amari Cooper, they brought in before Mike McCarthy. They got rid of him for a ham sandwich. There has been no big free agent signings. None. What have they done to help Mike McCarthy win? So, if you had a team like the Eagles or like the 49ers or some of these teams that have a couple of good receivers and a really good tight end, because Jake Ferguson, he regressed. Our tight end play was horrendous this year. Your offensive line took major steps backwards. You had one receiver who was banged up throughout most of the season. And you did anything didn't do anything to help him. So how can I say Mike McCarthy sucks with a hand that's dealt him? I just can't. So the final thing I'll say on this is, which is the first time I think I really heard him address it, but he said, Jerry doesn't have too many years. And so it'll be hard to rein him back, which may mean there's going to be a player in free agency to try and get this shit right. And maybe that was the plan all along. Alrighty, good people. Remember, tell the people you love how much you love them, and hold them tight. My buddy Game Time, his mother-in-law, her time is really, really short. And can't remember who it was I saw today in an interview, but they said something that I used to always say. I learned this lesson because my leg here, probably can't see it from there, but this leg from here down was 3rd-degree burns, and it was skin grafted. Some of the other leg too. They took the skin off my thighs, and I was in MedStar for over 2 weeks, having that done. Worst pain that you've ever had is being burned. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies. And I felt sorry for myself. It's like, my God, my leg is hideous. Until I met some others that were in the burn ward. And there was a woman who was in a house fire, and half of her face was literally just burned completely. The other side was gorgeous. And her hands, and you know, a woman, her hands are everything. Seeing her, I realized how lucky I was that all I had was my leg burned. And so what it taught me is, no matter how bad things may seem for you, there are millions of people that wish they only had your problems. That's all they had to deal with. And so you have to count your blessings. Remember, good people, tell the people you love how much you love them. Because you might not have time again. I love you guys. And we'll see as the Cowboys turn what's going to happen tomorrow. Peace out.